Yes, you're right. So today I thought I'd react to this video. It says top 10 reasons not to move to Canada. And I was like, I live in Canada. I want to see some reasons why I should move out of the country. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get at it, shall we? Yeah? Alright.
Oh, Canada! With everything going on in the world right now, you may have contemplated moving to another country. And for my viewers from the States, which is most of you guys,
Alright. Let's just get to the first wrong thing about Canada.
I don't blame you. Since its founding in 1867, Canada has become a country with amazing public education, low crime, great food, friendly residents, and a...
Come on, stop licking Canada up his ass, okay? We don't need that. Okay, let's just get to the reason we came to the video. Why should we not move to Canada? Come on.
Ontario.
Alright.
Number
nice.
10. Car insurance. Now, you might not have even thought of this one, but it's extremely expensive to own a car in Canada. Car insurance rates in most provinces are well above the rates in most states. Sure, it can actually be pretty cheap in Quebec, but in most provinces, you can expect to pay at least $1,200 a year on average. And
$1,200. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's only for a person with like a clean record. When I first got my car, I was 20 years old in a medium population area. I was paying close to $1,200, but then after like many years of owning my own car and not getting a speeding ticket, it went down to around $800 a year. So yeah, what I find troubling is, in Sri Lanka, my parents were paying like $20 a year for their fucking insurance, and I'm over here paying about 20 times as much. No, what is it? No maths, no quick maths. Okay, it's this amount.
if you live in Toronto or Vancouver, watch out, because the average cost is over $2,100 per year for a regular car, and that's if you have years of a squeaky clean driving record. If you've gotten a ticket or into an accident or this is because Canada doesn't really offer a minimum coverage option like they do in America. In many cases, the minimum coverage in Canada is really like the best coverage you can get in most states.
So I don't think that's true because I have collision, and that's the only thing I have. Basically, if I hit someone else's car, the insurance will cover their damages and they won't cover mine. But like if someone else hit me, the person who hit me will cover my damages. So that's just the minimum coverage I have, and that's the lowest of the lowest I can get. There are other options too. You can get like both way covers, so if it was your fault, it will still cover your damages as well.
Number 9. Places are very spread out. If you don't want to pay for expensive car insurance, you probably aren't going to get very far. Sure, you'll be able to get around the cities with good public transportation like Vancouver, Montreal, or Toronto, but it'll be a lot harder anywhere else. Like I said earlier, Canada is the second largest country in the world.
That is actually very true. I mean, I guess like from Kitchener, it's like mid-level population. To Toronto, it's hour and a half, maybe an hour drive. And then to anywhere else that's like populated, you got Ottawa, which is like a 7 or 5 hour drive. And then there's another place, Montreal. I'm not sure how far it is, but yeah, it is quite annoying. I went to Vancouver 2 times last year, and you had to get on a flight. Like you can't drive there. It will take you, like, was it 2 days maybe? And then like if you take the train, it's like 4 days. So it's quite annoying. And like the flight alone is like 5 hours as well. So it's also like a 3 to 5 hour time change as well.
But it's also one of the least densely populated countries with just around 4 people per square kilometer. In comparison, the US has a population density of over 36 people per square kilometer. As you can probably guess,
I mean, that's not exactly fair though. All like the space that are up top, it's like not usable. I'm like, people are still living there. It's just like, it's not really a convenient place to stay. I guess that's a better wording for it.
Number 8. Healthcare. Now I know you're probably thinking, what? You said Canada has amazing healthcare with universal coverage that's free at the point of service. Well, it does. But unless you had a major accident or are in life-threatening condition, the wait times are long. Now,
I think Canada has a pretty decent healthcare. Thing is, like, they don't cover prescriptions unless you're like under 25 years old, and no dental, no eyesight. Yeah, what he said was true. Like it's usually for like emergencies. Like if you want to go have a checkup, it's not expensive. I mean, you don't have to pay for it. I mean, you do pay for it through taxes, but that's about it.
The median wait time for a minor surgery or treatment is 19.8 weeks in Canada, which is more than 3 times longer than in the US. But if you're someone who just can't stand waiting around and you don't mind paying lots of money for immediate treatment or to see a specialist, the US is probably a better place for you.
If you have money and you need to get like an opinion of a specialist and the wait time is really long, what some people do is they just zip over to the US, pay for the specialist and get it done very quickly, and then come back and then give that information to get the medical procedure going.
Number 7, lack of good paying jobs. It's a good thing Canada has universal health care, because a lot of people wouldn't have any coverage if it was employer based instead. There just aren't many good paying jobs available here, especially if you weren't born in Canada.
I mean, yes, I do agree with that, but like you just need to know the right people to get in. But you know, the minimum wage is close to 15, I think, right now. I mean, I haven't worked a minimum job in like a couple of years now, so don't remember. But it's a decent amount. You can live off it easily.
Number 6, awful internet. Maybe you're thinking,
So what? I don't care about jobs. I already have a great job online.
or
I own an on.
It used to be much worse, but like if you live in a city, it's okay. But like, you know, my parents live in Kitchener. When I go back, at some points of the day, it's just absolutely horrific. They say we get about 100 megabytes per second, but like for some reason, when I'm watching movies, it's not true. It's definitely not true. Like if there's more people using the same internet, goes down drastically.
Online business.
well, in that case, Canada probably isn't the best place for you either, because the internet here is just plain awful. Sure,
Oh, and it's expensive. I think you can get like a decent plan, unlimited plan for like 60. You can't find unlimited cell phone plans that often, but like they will cost you about $100 per month.
but as soon as you start to get out into the suburbs and more rural areas, decent internet speeds just aren't available at all. And to make things even worse, many of the plans, even in the cities, have data caps, and in the rural areas, they all have data caps. If you go over your 80 gigabytes, you could end up paying some serious fees.
That's not really true anymore. We have unlimited internet everywhere. Well, this was done a while. Pretty recently, so only a year ago. We had unlimited data plans since I think 2015.
Number 5, high taxes. No matter what your job is, you're obviously gonna have to pay taxes if you move here. I mean, it's not like the healthcare and infrastructure are gonna pay for themselves. You might see that the highest tax rate in Canada is only 33% compared to 37% in the US, but look a little closer and you'll realize that that's because the highest bracket in Canada starts at income earned over 214,000 Canadian dollars, which is equivalent to about 153,000 US dollars. While the
And there are ways to get around it. You could just move to a place with like less tax rates. I think what was it? No, it wasn't Quebec. It's a oil province. I forgot. Was it Alberta then? Yeah, it's like they have a low tax rate, and then if you're a student, you pay less of a tax than the others, if not any. But like yeah, most times yeah, you're paying 30 to 35.
Each province or territory has its own extremely high income tax as well. Expect to pay at least 10 to 12% in additional taxes for most salaries and most.
Oh, one other thing I hate is that when you buy something, the price tag they have on like the counter, it doesn't include tax. Like, what the fuck? I don't want to do the math in my head. You had to pay for the tax, so when you go to the counter, they will ring you up and then they will add on the tax afterwards. And then you know your final price. It just takes up too much headspace to account the final price before you get to the counter. Absolute shit. Maybe they should definitely include the sales tax on the final price on the little racks.
Number 4, it's getting expensive. If you thought the taxes were bad enough, wait until you check out the real estate market. Unless you make a lot of money, purchasing a home in Canada is going to be incredibly difficult, especially
I mean, I wouldn't say it's extremely difficult. Like if you are a college or university graduate and you have a partner, then it becomes reasonable. Unless like you're living in Toronto, any other populated area, you can definitely buy a house. It's gonna be hard to save up 20%, but it's certainly doable in my standards.
Vancouver is currently the second least affordable city in North America, behind only San Francisco. The median home value is around $970,000 US dollars, and Toronto isn't much better with a median home value at $517,000 US dollars.
You gotta bump those numbers up. In Toronto, it's like $1 million nowadays.
Housing aside, the cost of living here is just high in general. Many Canadians even travel across the border into the US to buy clothes and furniture at lower prices. And gas is usually way cheaper in the States as well. But at least groceries and essential goods are pretty on par in price for the most part.
I mean, I do agree with like clothing and gasoline, but like, you know, that's just people being stupid with money in general. If you only buy what you can afford and like not get into credit card debt, cost of living is pretty low. I think for me personally, I can live off $800 a month. If you really try and like you're like a college university graduate, you can save like at least 70% of your take-home income.
Number 3, passive-aggressive residents. The whole Canadians are just so friendly saying isn't exactly true. Polite, for sure, but friendly wouldn't be the best word to describe them. Canadians, for the most part, are very well-mannered, but they often aren't honest about their feelings except with close friends. This can lead to a somewhat passive-aggressive and avoidant culture. In the US, people are usually more comfortable saying,
I have met some people who have lived in the US and then they have lived in Canada, and that is completely true. They say people in the US are much more friendly than Canadians, but like the people in Canada are much more well-mannered than people in the US. I guess the people in the US just speak their mind a lot more than Canadians.
Number 2, it gets cold. Now, while there are many problems in Canada, they all pale in comparison to the cold. Considering most of the country lies above the 49th parallel, winter in most parts of Canada means 6 to 8 months of not being able to feel your face, to
Well, I have lived in the southern area of Canada. For us, at least, it's only like 3 to 4 months of winter. The rest of the time is bearable.
every part except Vancouver and Victoria. And while they
Oh yeah, Vancouver, best place to be. There's like so many mountains. It doesn't get to freezing, so that's nice too. And like the weather is pretty decent. I mean, it is rainy though, so.
Number 1, the immigration process is difficult. Speaking of the US border, unless you're a highly desired worker with a special skill, there's a lot you'll have to go through to even be able to move to Canada. Although US citizens don't need any type of visa or authorization to visit Canada, this is definitely not the case for immigrating to Canada. In order to qualify,
I mean, it's better than Australia or England. So I think once you get into the country, it's quite easy to maneuver through your application process to get like permanent residency or citizenship. It's just the first step in. What most people do, from my understanding, is they like go into a college that's like 1 year long, and then they can work for 1 year, and then they can get their permanent residency, and then after they have been a permanent resident for about 3 or 4 years, they get their citizenship. I think it's an easier process than the US. It's just getting into the country is the hardest part.
the process isn't easy or cheap, and even if you marry a Canadian citizen, you won't necessarily get citizenship. Now be sure to leave a like and subscribe.
That was it for the video. I think most of the time he was just licking Canada's ass and then like giving us compliments all the way around. He did make some points about like living, I guess, like car insurance being high and like everything being spread out and people are just polite, not nice. So yeah, I agree with those, and I think that's where I will end this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.